Good morning. Have you guys been enjoying this series, Love Songs, and getting stuff out of it, getting something out of it? The last few weeks, these sermons are about love songs from two other people, but the main focus was that this was focus of love that God has for us that we are to give to other people. At this time, I'm going to invite my beautiful wife, Megan, to come up here and sing us the song Unforgettable. Unforgettable has been sung by famous people from all the way from Nat King Cole to Michael Bublé. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have her sing it, and we're going to do something a little bit different.
Unforgettable, that's what you are. Unforgettable, though near or far. Like a song of love that clings to me, how the thought of you does things to me never before. Has someone been more?
Now, she sung it to me. This time, I'm going to have her sing the song again. This might be a little bit weird, but she's going to sing it in front of a mirror to herself. I'll try not to blind her with the lights.
Unforgettable, that's what you are. Unforgettable, though near or far. Like a song of love that clings to me, how the thought of you does things to me never before. Has someone been more unforgettable in every way and forevermore? That's how you'll stay. That's why, darling, it's incredible that someone so unforgettable thinks that I am unforgettable too. Oh, that's why, darling, when you take my hand, I can hardly understand how someone like you thinks that I am unforgettable too.
Doesn't she have an amazing voice? More beautiful when she sings to other people and sings to me than to herself in the mirror. There are two ways that we can view this song. The first way is singing it to ourselves, singing a love song to ourselves, that we are unforgettable. The second way is to singing it to others. Those are the two ways that we could experience this song. A great example of something like this comes from Matthew chapter 20, verses 20 through 28. In this, there are two men by the names of James and John, and they are part of Jesus' 12 disciples. And in this, they go up to Jesus, and they approach him with a request. And we're going to start in Matthew 20 verse and through 21. And it says, "Then the mother of the sons of Zebedee came to Jesus with her sons, bowing down and making a request of him. And he said to her, 'What do you wish?' She said to him, 'Command that in your kingdom these two sons of mine will sit one on your right and one on your left.'" The first part of the passage turns the song Unforgettable that we sing to others inwards to ourselves. It is a song about really focusing on ourselves and our own desires and our own wants and our own greatness. See, James and John knew what they were asking, what they were requesting Jesus. In the Gospel of Mark, it even says that these two disciples came up to Jesus and that they asked that they give them whatever they wanted. The danger was not in the question that they asked, because Jesus says, it's okay to be great. It's okay to want. It's okay to seek after greatness. But what is dangerous is when we take that and we put it inwards to ourselves. When we're not focusing on others, when we're not focusing on other things. And it was in their motivation that they did this. See, and again, it's not harmless to ask those things. That's why I'm not saying don't seek after greatness, don't seek after lots of money, don't seek after these things. It's okay to do that. But what is your intent? That is the thing. That is what is important. We need to feel important. That is the danger. We need to feel important where we forget about everything else. See, the world and sin, it's about instant gratification. It's about getting what you want now. It's about taking shortcuts. It's going from point A to point B without doing the hard work. That is the difference. See, we have people that may go from point A to point B and they do the work. But when we take shortcuts to get to point B, that is dangerous. That is dangerous. And Jesus knew their hearts. Jesus knew James and John what they were going to come and request him. He knows our hearts. He knows our desires. He knows our passions. He knows our wants. He knows our greatness. And what he wants to do is he wants to take this mirror and he wants us to realign the focus so that the mirror is no longer facing us as we're singing to ourselves, but where we start to realize that we don't need the mirror, that we don't need to take shortcuts, that it's okay to put the mirror down. And so continuing on in the story, verses 22 through 23, Jesus said, and Jesus answered, "You do not know what you are asking. Are you able to drink the cup that I'm about to drink?" They said to him, "We are able." He said to them, "My cup you shall drink, but to sit on my right and on my left is not mine to give, but it is for those whom it has been prepared for by my Father." In this passage, Jesus asked the two disciples if they were willing to do anything for what they want, for this place of honor, for this greatness. And their response was that they were. Not knowing what it was, not knowing what Jesus wanted them to do. In our unforgettable view of ourselves, are we willing to do anything without knowing what that anything is to receive that place of honor, that greatness? It is not wrong. Again, it is not wrong to seek after honor. It is not wrong to seek after greatness. It is not wrong to seek after $1 million. It becomes wrong when we place shortcuts to get there. See, Jesus asked James and John if they were willing to drink from the cup. The cup in the Old Testament and the New Testament was a sign of wrath. What Jesus was doing here was he was really questioning, are you guys really prepared to go through with what you're asking? Are you willing to prepare to do anything to get that greatness? And when we do that, when we have this unforgettable view of ourselves, to get this greatness, when we take shortcuts, other people see that. Other people in our lives see that. They may be going after the same thing or other things, but when they see us take those shortcuts, they become maybe a little indignant, enraged towards us. And this is what happened. Continuing in verse 24. And hearing this, the other 10 disciples became indignant with the two brothers. The other disciples were enraged. They were outraged that James and John requested this of Jesus, that they demanded it now. See, they were seeking after the same thing, but they were doing it differently. They did not take the shortcut, or they were not brave enough to take the shortcut that James and John did. And they were furious. They were enraged. James and John risked their friendship with the other 10. And it also goes to say that, other people, we may see other people and we despise them when we seek to become more important and take shortcuts. And even still, when we see others getting what we want, what we desire, what we think our greatness is, we also may become indignant and enraged. God called me to become a pastor. He called me to become a pastor when I was in high school, and I remember this very vividly. I was walking, I was talking with God, and He said, "You're going to be a pastor." I will not forget that day. God placed a call in my life. So I went to Bible college, 4 years. During those 4 years, I saw some of my friends drop out of Bible college and go become youth pastors at a big church, or drop out of Bible college and started their own church, or dropped out of Bible college and went on missions trips, dropped out of college and became a pastor of a bigger church. When I graduated from college, the same thing. I saw these people getting invites to become their youth pastors, getting invites to become their church leader, going on missions trip, and how I desired that, how I wanted that. See, I stepped into a ministry of a youth pastor, but it was a small ministry. It was small. I wanted the greatness. I wanted those 200 plus kids. I wanted to be in a church that was 700 plus, to be a part of a program that invited people in. And I wanted to take shortcuts to get there. I wanted it to be given now. I wanted to demand God that He give me that, what I desired, my calling now. See, the mirror was in front of me. It was in front of me. I was looking at my reflection, not anybody else's. And this was dangerous. See, I wasn't trusting in God. God was there the whole time saying, "Are you trusting me? I know what I want for you. Trust me. Trust me in this. Give me your life." And I wasn't getting it. I wasn't getting it. And I started questioning my call. God, do you really want me to be a pastor? Here I am, with a small youth group. Did you really call me to this? I thought it was going to be great. This was dangerous because I saw myself as unforgettable. But see, there is hope. There is hope. When the night is the darkness right before the dawn, there is hope. When sin is coming towards us in our lives and we don't know what to do, there is hope. When our finances, month after month, are in the red, we have no way to pay the bills, there is hope. There is hope because God is saying, "Do you trust me? Do you trust me in this?" And the point of realization came that God did not call me to what those other people had. God did not call me to be a youth pastor of 250 plus. Yes, God called me still to greatness, but see, I can be great and still be a youth pastor of 10. I can still be great and be a youth pastor 10, 12. I can still be great and still be a pastor of 10, 12. See, he called me not to have the number-wise greatness. He called me into a life with him. And when I remembered that, I remember that God wasn't forgetting me. God was staying there with me the whole time, saying, trust me that I got this, that I got you. Don't worry about what I called you to do. Don't worry about that. I got you. Just do your stuff. Do what you need to do. I got the rest. And see, it goes from us, from looking at ourselves inward to outward. It starts that movement. And God calls us into a better way of receiving, a better way of getting that greatness. Continuing on, in Matthew, and this is verses 25 through 28. But Jesus called them, the whole 12 disciples, all the 12, other people that were traveling with them, to himself and said, you know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their great men exercise authority over them because they take shortcuts. It is not this way among you, but whoever wishes to become great among you shall be your servant, and whoever wishes to be first among you shall be your slave. Just as the Son of Man did not come to serve, but to serve and to give his life a ransom for many. Returning back to the story of James and John, Jesus told the two that they would indeed suffer, that they would indeed have these trials. But that decision and place of honor, of greatness, was not for Jesus to give out. It was God's alone. What Jesus does next in this passage, he goes from turning the tables, or in this message, turning the mirror to ourselves, to having us literally placing the mirror down so that way we're not self-centered and self-focused. He changes the meaning of unforgettable, of this instant gratification. He changes the shortcuts and says, no, don't worry about the shortcuts. Shortcuts are not for you. I have a better way. I have a better way. It goes from this instant selfish gratification to outward giving. And Jesus told them that they could become, that they wanted to be great, if they wanted to have the greatness, that they would have to suffer. If they wanted the greatness, they would have to serve. If they wanted the greatness, they would have to give. See, it's just like in the Middle East, there's a lake called the Dead Sea. And the Dead Sea, what it does is that it just receives. There's no life in it. It's dead. It's salty. The reason is because all the lakes and the rivers are pouring themselves into it, but it's not giving. It is not giving. There is no outlet to take all that stuff that is collected in it out. It just keeps on giving. And that's what happens. See, this series is about love. It's about the love songs that God sings to us. It's about the love songs that we sing to others. See, love sometimes can be to the point where, oh, you love me, so give me stuff. And our relationship with God kind of reflects the same way. We expect God to give to us because we are his children. It's okay to do that. It's okay to expect God to give to us, to receive from him. But there's a danger that if we just rely on the giving to us and not of the giving to others, becomes dangerous. It is like when we were younger. At Christmas time, we loved to receive gifts. We loved to receive presents. As we became older, the adults understand this greatly. It wasn't just about the giving or the giving for ourselves, receiving. It was about the giving the gifts to our kids, to our spouse, to our children. That's where the real joy comes in. This last Christmas, watching my kids opening up their gifts, that was better than giving to myself. That was better than receiving to myself. And with that, we start to change our attitude. And it's not just anything about seeking to receive, but it's about giving. Jesus is telling us that we need to stop seeking to receive and throw down our mirrors and to serve and give. See, this is the better way. The better way is to become last so that way we become first. To be great, if you want to be great, serve. And Jesus demonstrated this through his whole life. You know, we sing the song, "You came from heaven to earth to show the way, from the earth to the cross, my debt to pay, from the cross to the grave, to the sky. Lord, I lift your name on high." Jesus lived this daily. He went from greatness in heaven to a lonely manger, a dirty, stinky, animal-infested manger. It was not sanitary. It was anything but sanitary. And to be born into that, a great king, to be born into that, and then he lived his life, just a commoner, just somebody who walked the streets like you and I. He didn't glorify. He could have commanded his angels to come down and take over the palaces, the streets. He could have came in force, but he didn't. He chose a life of a humble servant to show us the way that it is better to give to others. It is better to be a servant than it is to seek after that greatness. We go from a state of wanting to a state of giving and serving. What does it look like? What does it look like day after day for you? Are you constantly in a state of, oh, I had a hard day at work, or I worked a long day, or I just want to have people serve me? Or does it go to a place where, yes, I had a hard day. Yes, it's okay for people to serve me, but I'm going to do something greater and maybe partner with people and serve others. When I come home from a day's work, I don't expect my wife to serve me. I don't expect to sit down on the couch watching TV, watching my favorite show while my wife is there serving dinner, getting our kids ready for bed. I help partner with her. I help do the dishes. I help do the laundry. Not that way that I can just serve her, but that way I can partner with her to serve our kids. And serving is not just about giving our time, giving our energy, giving money, our sacrifice. It is about being in a place where the expectation of receiving goes to the expectation of giving. I want you guys to listen to this. Again, a life of giving and being a servant is not just about giving money, time, or sacrifice. But being a servant is placing that expectation of receiving to the expectation of giving. The expectation goes from receiving, getting what we want, to the expectation of only, okay, I'm giving. God's blessed me with a good pocketbook, with a good checkbook, with good things, with a good house, with maybe a whole bunch of other stuff. And I could be like the Dead Sea where I just keep on giving, or I can give life. I have this unexpected income coming in, maybe I should give it. I have a little extra money coming in, maybe I should give. I have a little extra time, give. This is the better way. This is the better way than taking shortcuts. This is what Jesus is saying. It's taking that mirror out of our own hands and placing it down. One thing I just want to say is anybody that helps set up and tear down, thank you. Thank you for giving your time, your Sunday mornings. After church today, we can just leave the chairs here. So you guys, tear down team, you don't have to worry about the chairs. But I just want to say thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that. Another great way that we can become unforgettable is through missions. This summer, the youth and I are going on a mission trips to the Twin Cities. It is an opportunity for us as a church to serve. We may not be able to go on the missions trip, but there are ways that we can help serve and give. See, I've been on many missions trips before. One thing that I did not do, and I raised the money, I worked. One thing that I did not do was I did not ask people for money. I did not ask people to give to the missions trip that I was going to. And I lost out on an opportunity for other people, for a chance for them to give. It is a great opportunity. You may want to maybe give a donation to this if you choose to do. You may be wanting to feel called to sponsor a youth to go. Or you may say, hey, I have a car that's really dirty that may need to be washed. Can you come over and wash it and I'll give you some money? Different ways. If you guys have any questions about this missions trips or ways that you can give, come see me afterwards. Come see me in the next few weeks, next few months. If you know anybody that would like to go on this missions trip, come see me, come talk to me. I'd love to have a conversation with you. Right now I'm going to show a little promotional video of kind of what it looks like and what we're doing.
Christ-centered mission trips create new perspectives, new passions, new possibilities, all out of the intersection of youth and communities. For 25 years, this has been the heartbeat of YouthWorks, so join us. Serve at the intersection of youth and communities and find your next Christ-centered mission trip.
In the book of Acts, Paul states that in everything I showed you, that by working hard in this manner, you must help the weak and remember the words of the Lord Jesus Christ, that he himself said, it is more blessed to give than to receive. See, there's other ways that we can give. There's other ways that we can serve. Sign-up sheets over by the coffee table if you want to help set up. There's sign-up sheets out in the Kids Connect corner where you sign in your kids to help serve in children's church. There's other ways to give. In the next few weeks, we're going to go through a series called Giveability. Pastor Matt talked about this a little bit more. We are going to be learning from what it means to go from a place for what it means to go from receiving what it really means to give. What it really means, and to fully understand and recognize the unforgettable way that God is calling us to live a better life. Stop taking shortcuts. It is more better to give to others than it is to receive. At this time, I'm going to have the communion team come up to prepare for communion. At this time, I really want to ask you guys, I really want to challenge ways, challenge your hearts. What are some ways that I can give? What are the ways that where I can place the expectation of receiving to an expectation of giving, so that I may not be like the Dead Sea and dead just because I am receiving and I'm not giving. See, God calls us, God gives to us, so that way we can give to others.